Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about the upcoming fight between Yordenis Ugas and Manny Pacquiao. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so we have a big fight coming up this Saturday between Yordenis Ugas and Manny Pacquiao. Now, this isn't necessarily the fight that we were all looking forward to. We were looking forward to Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence, but Spence had to drop out with the eye injury. In steps Ugas. Now, unlike most times when we see a guy stepping up on short notice, Ugas should be ready to go for this one. He was already scheduled as the co-main event, so he was already in training camp. He should have no problem making weight. All of that should be taken care of. He should be able to show up on fight night at his best. It's true, he didn't train this whole camp for Manny Pacquiao. That's a last-minute change, but it's the exact same thing for Manny Pacquiao on the other side too. Ugas is not Spence. Completely different fighter, completely different style. Both of them are having to adapt on the fly on that one. But either way, this should be an awesome fight. So, speaking of Yordenis Ugas, 35 years old, former Cuban, 2008 Olympic bronze medalist. Came over here, turned pro in 2010, been fighting in the pro ranks ever since. He is a very good fighter. Now, when you sit and you break down the tape on Ugas, there's a few things that stand out right away. Number one, patient fighter. He's flat-footed. Don't mistake that for being immobile. He's flat-footed, but he can move a little bit. But he's flat-footed. He's in front of his opponent. He wants to stand right in front of you. He wants to apply pressure. He's not going to be hard to find. He's right there. Now, when I say apply pressure, he's not in working behind the jab. He's not getting crazy trying to push you backwards. Apply pressure in the sense that he's going to be right there in front of you. He's not going to be using a lot of lateral movement. He's not going to be boxing from the outside. He's not going to be working behind his jab, trying to be cute and dodge things and be defensive or anything. He's right there. Pretty good defensively. Defensively responsible. He's going to be able to get out of the way of some punches. He's going to be able to slide back. He's tall for the division. He'll lean back at times. He'll get underneath punches, hop back, use a little bit of footwork, in and out. But he does move on straight lines. That's one of the knocks against him. When he's moving in and out, whether or not he's using a little bit of upper body movement to lean back from shots, even if he gets underneath shots, he comes back and gets his head right back on that center line. Another thing that stands out, man, this man is a ferocious body puncher. He goes to the body. He's dedicated to it. He goes to the body early. He goes to the body hard. He counter punches to the body. But naturally, he's a counter puncher. Naturally, when he gets out there, that's what he wants to do. He's going to stand in front of you, apply that pressure, but he's going to wait for you to do something. He's going to try and counter punch. And let me tell you, when he does counter punch, you can be sure that he's going to be counter punching to the body. Doesn't matter what fight we're talking about, where we're looking at it. Porter, Figueroa, Dallas, Ramos, I can guarantee you, no matter what fight you're looking at, you're going to see Ugas counterpunching to the body. And he does it early. And think about it. I mean, when he's successful with it, when he gets that going, it really shuts down an opponent's offense. It really makes them second guess what they're doing. Nobody likes getting it to the body. Man, that is a punch that hurts. And you've got Ugas ripping it, counter punches to the body. Really makes you second guess what you're about to do. Now, when I was breaking down the film for this fight, the one that really stood out to me, the one that I liked looking at the most, was against Shawn Porter. It's not necessarily because Shawn Porter and Manny Pacquiao have this super similar style. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm suggesting. But they do have a few things, I'll say in common, a few things that overlap. Porter's explosive. He likes to move in and out. He likes to use his athleticism. He's got fast hands. Those are all things that Manny Pacquiao has. Now, the way they use them is very different, but how Ugas was going to deal with that movement in and out, how he was going to deal with the explosiveness, the hand speed, those are all the things that I was interested in seeing. And it was interesting in the way that he handled it. Porter was able to see some success. Porter was able to get in there. He was able to land some good right hands on the way in. He was able to land some shots when he was in there. He was able to get some good work done. Like Ugas, as good as he is, he's there to be hit at times. That being said, he did a lot of the things that he wanted to. He countered Porter to the body just like everybody else did. He was able to land some jams. He was able to land some right hands. But he's there to be hit. And I'll tell you one other thing. He can be prone to sweeping punches. He'll throw his punches wide sometimes, particularly that right hand. He'll sweep it over the top. He'll sweep it when it comes to the body. That leaves opportunity for a man who knows how to counterpunch. Standing across the ring from him Saturday night is going to be the legend, Manny Pacquiao. And I don't use the word legend lightly. Manny Pacquiao is an absolute legend in the sport. The man has been doing it forever. He's getting up there in age, fighting far above his weight class, 147 pounds. Manny Pacquiao could probably easily make 140, probably even make 135 if he wanted to. But here he is at 147, fighting far above his weight class and still fighting guys at the absolute top of the division. 8 division world champion. Been there, done that, seen it all. Manny Pacquiao is still performing his craft at the absolute highest levels. So he steps in there against Yordenis Ugas on Saturday night. Now, Manny Pacquiao, he's got a lot of things that stand out about his style. But before we break that down, let me say this one thing. There is 2 fights that I always think about when I think of Manny Pacquiao. Number 1, the second fight against Manuel Marquez. That was an absolute phenomenal fight. I loved what both men brought to the table. But what Manny Pacquiao was able to do against a counterpuncher of Marquez's skill level, man, that was nothing short of spectacular. And the second fight that always stands out to me, the one that I love, was against Cotto. And that was for a few reasons. Number 1, it was for what he showed up with that night. He was absolutely at the height of his powers. The speed, the angles, the footwork, the combinations, the power. He had it all. But he brought it to the table against Miguel Cotto, a man who was naturally much bigger, naturally much stronger, had been fighting bigger and stronger men his whole career. And Cotto looked so good that night. He looked so sharp. You could tell that he was training hard. He was just on point, working behind that jab, using his speed. And on top of all that, Manny Pacquiao just came out and absolutely shined. That was just an amazing performance. And I'll always think of those 2 performances when I think of Manny Pacquiao. Man, those were something else, just absolutely catapulted him to superstardom. Still, at this point in his career, he brings a lot of those same things to the table. He's still got the hand speed. He's still got the combination punching, the ferociousness, the aggressiveness. He's still got the footwork. Sit down and listen to a few interviews when Floyd Mayweather, as critical as he is about Manny Pacquiao, as much garbage as he has to talk, as many bad things as he's had to say over the years, every now and then he'll come out and he'll tell the truth. And one of the things that he says is, I can understand why Manny Pacquiao had so much success. It's the footwork, it's the speed, it's the angles. That footwork and those angles are something that almost nobody can deal with. And then you combine it with the hand speed, you combine it with the combination punching. It's why Manny's been able to go over there and overwhelm so many guys who are bigger, guys who are stronger, guys who got the reach, guys who can punch harder. It doesn't matter. He's able to go out there and he always is able to figure out a way to get it done. The way he's able to cut those deep angles, the way he's able to turn guys, the way he's even able to counterpunch. We think about him as this aggressive left-handed puncher who overextends sometimes on his punches, but guys just can't take advantage of him, right? That's one of the critiques. He is a very skilled counterpuncher. That short little check right hook that he's got, Manila Ice, the way he's able to start punch with guys because he's got such good timing, the way he lands that left hand, how he took the jab away from Cotto, how he took the jab away from Algieri. Manny Pacquiao brings it all to the table. So the question is, what's it going to look like when these 2 step in the ring against each other on Saturday night? Now, it's interesting. Las Vegas instead put Manny Pacquiao at minus 315. That installs him approximately at a 3-1 favorite over Ugas. Now, that's pretty significant, but at the same time, he's not blowing Ugas out of the water as far as the odds makers are concerned. He's not minus 800, minus 900, just these crazy odds, minus 315. So a significant favorite, a bigger favorite than Spence was over him. But you listen to some fighters talk about it. You listen to interviews with like a former champ, Bernard Hopkins. You listen with interview Tim Bradley. They've got a completely different take on it. And the way that they see it, to be perfectly honest, is much more similar, is much more close to the way that I see it. I think Manny Pacquiao is going to be able to go out here and shine. I think when you look at Ugas and what he does well, his counterpunching, the way he goes to the body, the way he stays in front of an opponent and he's able to apply that pressure, that is tailor-made for Manny Pacquiao, and styles make fights. Pacquiao loves it when a guy moves back and forth, but he keeps his head on the center line. Pacquiao loves it when a guy is predictable in the way that he counterpunches. Nobody, when you watch these fights, nobody that Ugas has fought is able to work the angles that Manny Pacquiao is. Nobody's able to go out there and cut the deep angles that's going to force Ugas to pivot constantly. It's going to force him to turn. It's going to force him to attempt to cut off the ring. Nobody's been able to do those things to him. But Manny Pacquiao guaranteed he's going to be able to do those things. He does it to everybody. He's going to be able to go out there and he's going to be able to counterpunch when Ugas tries to work behind the jab. Because Ugas doesn't have that fast a hand, so it'll be there when he wants to. He'll be able to start get that left hand going. He'll be able to start working in and out the same way that Sean Porter was. But he'll be able to do it with so much more variety. He'll be able to bring so many more punches to the table. He'll be able to come in and lead and then counterpunch. He'll be able to cut a deep angle, spin, throw the left hand, come in with an uppercut. Manny Pacquiao is going to be able to have a lot of success out there. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be something we haven't seen before. It's not going to be something completely spectacular. This won't be the fight of his career or something crazy like that. Ugas is a very good fighter. But what we're going to see on Saturday night is just another example of why there's levels to things. Just another example of why you have guys who are very good and you have guys who are absolute world champions. Manny Pacquiao is an absolute world champion, a legendary fighter. I fully expect him to go out there on Saturday night and show it against Ugas. So let me know what you guys think. Is this going to be a showcase for Manny Pacquiao and his skills even at this advanced age? Or is he going to start to slip? Is the layoff going to be a little bit too much? Is Ugas going to be able to come out and get the better of him? Let me know what you guys think.